An error occurred. Oh. Yep. Oh, it's just one of the profiles, Subpellucid page, but it let me hit it again, and there it is. So I don't know. He's just looking all professional, like, hello, I'll be your host this evening.
Packing your angry eyes.
It's one of my favorite lines in Toy Story.
I'm packing your angry eyes.
Oh, speaking of angry eyes, Nick looks like he's ready for whatever's going on around here. A little Photoshop. Those aren't even your eyes. Oh, really? Well, there you go. That did happen. That's happened to us at least once, maybe twice, where we had an image that we pulled, and they're like, "That actually isn't me." Well, we don't care. Is that a poker chip? Oh, hey, Daniel, I changed the intro up a little bit today, too. You know, mix it up a little bit. So, it'll be interesting to see how this goes since we're doing this at a weird time. Usually by now we've got comments from people who, they're off work and whatever. Or that. So. Is that even a thing now? Is that? I don't know. Everybody's at home doing whatever.
All the responsible folks, anyway.
Yep. Wow. They're just not saying anything. Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, it's just that Tim Sowen isn't joined yet.
Gotcha.
He'll.
Okay, so it looks like we are.
Oh, that was weird.
So it looks like we are live, or that we are
Nice.
going to be live right here in a second. Okay, so our live stream is now coming through.
We're hoping.
If you could just give me, for anybody that's in the chat right now, if you just give me a confirmation that you can hear.
It's the first time we've had a guest do this for us.
And my audio is working.
Wasn't that nice of him to do a sound check for us?
That was well, Nick Nimmin he's obviously a pro at all of this, and he should probably, we should just hand the show over to him, let him do it. What do you say about that, Chad?
Just let him do it. We just we leave.
How about we just hand the show over to a real producer and let them do the show?
It'd be our the best show with the most number of viewers. Yeah, it's our chance to make it big. By the way, if anybody isn't sure exactly who it is that we are talking about, it's this guy, Nick Nimmin. You might recognize him from his. He was an extra on Rambo, First Blood. I think that's where we pulled that image from. So I don't know. I'm still trying to wake up, I think.
Well, before we bring him on the show, I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
What's your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution, I didn't make any. I found that when I do it, then I break them, and then I feel bleh about it. And so a few days before New Year's, I started trying to get back to working out. I'd kind of slacked off the last few months. But other than that, I just wanted to strengthen my relationship with you. That's my number one goal, is just to get closer to you, Daniel.
You've just given up on life, haven't you?
Pretty
Well,
much.
if that's your goal, then may there be mercy on us all. Okay, let's. Why don't we bring our guest in and save the show from total doom and catastrophe?
We've never saved it before. Why start now?
What we're going to do now is we are going to start. Now we're actually 3 minutes behind what I had hoped to do on the start.
Gee, what a tyrant. Sorry, 3 minutes late.
I just want to say I'm loving all the awkward pauses that we got going on here. I mean, like, I'm over here just like hanging. The tension there just has me right on the edge of like, what is going to be said next? Like, how much of this space are we going to have between words? That's what, for me, I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm surfing the empty space here. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. What's going on, fellas? Hope that you are doing awesome.
We are doing outstanding. Empty space happens to be one of our taglines that we're actually thinking about adding to the show. So, Subpellucid. Long pause, home of empty space.
Which pauses are you?
Usually the ones when you're trying to think, Daniel, is what he's talking about.
Yeah, that right there, actually. The which pauses were you? That space right there. Oh, just surfing that silence. Oh, it's great.
Well,
absolutely love it.
You're able to pull those kinds of things off when you're a professional.
Yeah, and if, for those of you who are into it, I opened a silent room over on Clubhouse. Welcome to join in. I got video, 4 invites. Audio. No video, no audio. It's a new, and I'm thinking of opening my own app. No video, no audio.
Just mime.
Just
show up and hang out.
You just show up, hang out, and you mime with the pros. If you can get your marketing message across using nothing but mime, I just feel like there's an open space there. There's an opportunity for somebody to own that. And like you said, based on Daniel's, use of long pauses and open space, I just feel like he's probably got a foot in that door way further than the rest of us.
Yeah, I think the only thing with that would be that mime would still require video. So unfortunately, maybe you would have to like draw on the screen, but even that's kind of like video in a way, where you draw on the screen, maybe like a Pictionary type of thing that people can communicate with, just trying to help, expand on the idea here. I want to present, once you launch this thing, guys.
No, this is all about being in the moment. There's no video, no audio, no video whatsoever. You just go in and you're just there, and that's it. Well, that was the idea of the day. How about we start with the first segment and get the show moving, Chad? What do you think?
We have segments now?
We have segments. We have, what do you want to call it? A chapter?
I've heard it called a lot of things, if you're asking. Before we go to that, actually, though, Daniel, you actually wanted to ask everyone a question.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that's here. I'm here to fill in the dead space in more than one place.
Okay, so did we have a banner set up for that, or are we just going to ask
the 4 options on separate banners? If that's what you do.
On separate banners. Okay, so wait, where is it? I'm looking up to the banners here. Oh yeah, okay. So guys, okay, all of you watching here, we want to find out what you think Nick Nimmin did prior to 2016, right? You're not going to find this online, so because he's taken, for some reason, which we'll find out later in the show, he's taken great efforts to hide his history. So we found out that he's been doing something in the past and we want to see if you can guess this correctly. Okay.
I'm not sure if we found all of them because the ones we found are not that big a deal, but he looks incredibly nervous.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've got this. Here are the options for you to pick from and vote on. You got door-to-door salesman. Okay. He might have done office cleaning, like maybe gone in and cleaned after hours after people, right? Maybe he did a pooper scooper business where he would had maybe a startup where he collected poop from the streets. Or maybe he was a professional DJ. So whatever you think he might have been doing, put it in the comments. Let's see who gets it right, and we'll find out later on the show.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Curious to see what the poll is on that one. Like, what kind of person do you think I am? Is basically how you're answering that question.
That would be interesting to see which ones get the most responses.
Most responses.
We will we'll make sure that we send that to our virtual assistant named Daniel.
Or make up your own
to add all those.
He might have had other jobs, right? So you can also make up your own stuff and see if you get that right. Yeah, who knows?
I also want to say that after those votes are counted, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and just request a recount now, so that we can make sure that the one that is the priority winner that everybody thinks. I just want to keep going against that one as much as I possibly can until we kind of turn it into the way that I want, if that's okay, guys, here, once those results come in, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. We don't care if it's right, fake, true, false. This show is not about any of those things and about all of those things at the same time. So, all right. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, Nick, we've put together something new this week that we haven't done with anybody else. And we're going to use you as the guinea pig. So we are just going to go ahead and slide on over to that.
So I tried to run, and they caught me anyway, and I got bit when I was trying to get away.
So we wanted to get to know you a bit, and we get to know our guests in ways that are a bit different. We want to throw them a bit off and ask them questions that in a way that they're not prepared for. So that's the key here, just to have a little fun with it, and find out things that maybe will slip because you're not used to these questions. So we have a few questions for you from the job interview from hell. I want to just find out. And
so
the first one,
he's got the.
He's got he's
so the answers that I sent you guys earlier that are here on the screen, like, should I not address those, or should I address those like when I'm answering this? Like, are those ones that we pre-arranged? Are those the right answers to pull from this, or should I come up with something new?
Oh no! If the answer to one of the questions we asked you is the answer to things that we have answered or asked in the past, then by all means, spill the beans.
Good. Okay.
Spill the
beans. I just wanted to know if I needed to work off of my notes here. Or if I should, if we're just freestyling.
No,
so I'm just, checking in.
We don't expect everybody to be as smooth, polished, and appear to have notes as we apparently do.
Nice.
Yeah. No, the whole point is you're not prepared, right? This is the whole thing. So we want to just get to know you. That's the whole key. So you can take this anywhere you want to take it, right? So the first question is, if you were on an island. So this is a real question that some company actually asks their interviewees. If you were on an island and could only bring 3 things, what would those 3 things be?
Probably a life straw, so that I could make sure that I had sufficient enough water, something that would help me make fire, and probably some sort of like cutting thing so that I could possibly like hunt or at least stab some fish or something like that. So it would all be things that would help keep me alive.
I get the feeling that you would be just fine if this ever happened to you, just from the mere fact that you use the proper phrase "cutting thing."
Yeah, well, that's how up on the survival game that I am. Because I use cutting things for pizza. I don't know if they're the right cutting things, but if the island has pizza, then I think I'll be okay. And, most islands do, so I'm not really worried about it, to be honest with you.
Very specific. Life straw and a cutting thing. Fair enough. Okay. Well,
Stab the fish. Stab those
Yeah.
fish.
so
Good point. Most islands are inhabited and have cities on them and have everything and even have airports on them that you can get to and from. We never said it's a desolate island. Good catch there, Nick.
all right. So the next,
I guess a better answer probably would have been like a hot air balloon or a boat as one of those things, so I could, get back to civilization. Maybe, some type of comm device, so I could, communicate to somebody. I guess I could have done a lot better in that situation. I was just trying to think of bare bones survival instead of thinking like, how can I really get out of this situation? I really, started at the bottom. So shame on me.
oh, Rhaegar said he'd bring 2 turntables. I don't know who he's going to plug them into, but that's
It's not bad though.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You never know who you're going to run into, and if you want to throw a party, you have to have your turntables and a cutting thing, and you will be good to go. So, all right. So the next question is for me, and again, these are questions that Daniel looked up that apparently have been asked on real job interviews by people who didn't want to have a long career once HR probably got a hold of them. This one, however, is a little bit more tame, and that is, have you ever had a real job?
Yes. Yeah, I have. So I worked as a delivery person for a pizza company for a little bit. I worked as a manager for a pizza company for a little bit. All that was before I was 18. Let's see here. What else did I do? I worked at Walgreens when I was 15, actually. Worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken as well when I was 16.
What did you do with the KFC?
I was a cook. Yes, I was a cook. I would throw the bird in the flour, get it all mixed up, drop it in the fryer. A pretty complicated job. A lot of high level skills were needed for that. I qualified. Luckily they weren't asking me, what island, what I would bring to islands and stuff like that, because I might not have made the cut in that situation. But I was fortunate enough at 16 to be able to answer the questions correctly in that situation, to be able to, get the gig.
There you go. And everybody who's ever been in that industry knows that if you work in that particular industry in the restaurant world where you're frying stuff consistently, don't care how many times you wash your clothes, they're going to smell.
It's permanent. Yeah, it's permanent. Not only your clothes, it starts to become like part of your skin. And yeah, it's an interesting environment. But, if you want to eat your chicken, it's kind of comes with the territory for, somebody's got to make it. And I was one of those people that were back there making the chicken.
Absolutely.
Other people talk when they think about, hey, I gotta work. I gotta go, work. Some people might say like, hey, it's time to make the donuts. For me, it's time to go make the chicken.
Lovely. Daniel, go for it. What do you got?
Okay. What is your least favorite thing about humanity?
Other
That's
than
a
this
great
show.
question. So my least favorite thing about humanity is how, and I don't know if it's always been this way, but how there are pre-made judgments between people before anybody even gets the chance to talk to each other. So for example, if I were to walk past Chad, how he's, with his hat and his suit, I might think certain things, good or bad, but I might think certain things before I would actually start, talking to Chad. And that's just because, it's baked into my brain in that way. And it's like that for all of us, when we're walking down the street, and that, prejudgment, I think keeps us from a lot of really awesome things. Of course, the conflict side, does as well. But that prejudgment, I think, really creates a huge barrier between people. So that would be my least favorite thing off the top of my head.
Well, there you go.
Great question.
No,
that's a really good question. I've never even thought that myself. To be honest, yeah, that's a good one.
Well, that's a great answer though too. The way we do prejudge others. One of the other things that this one actually not necessarily a regular interview question, but it did pop in our head, and that is, what kind of name or an origin, whatever, what kind of name is it? Nimmin.
So technically, it stems from China, technically. But that's not kind of like the roots of it, from where I go. So basically I know, the farthest back that I can go is, on my dad's side, his father, so that'd be my great grandfather. On my side is as far back as I can go on that.
Oh, wow. And then the name changes?
I have no idea. That's just as far back as I can actually find it. So.
Gotcha.
But like if you look like, because I've done tons of looking around the internet trying to find heritage and all that stuff, but a lot of stuff comes up in China. So that's why I'm thinking that it's something, you know, related to China.
But you've never
Have you
found
ever done that?
anything in your roots or any kind of family stories that you've heard of any kind of connections to Asia at all?
No, like our family, like if you talk to my brother D, for example, like we're not real big on you know, lineage and, you know, all of that type of thing. It's just not our thing. So at one point I was thinking of getting like a DNA thing, because I know that they can do a lot of like tracing and things like that. I know a friend of mine here locally did it, and they uncovered all kinds of stuff. Like they uncovered that they had an actual like sister that was in the States. They found out that that the sister was given up by the mom, and, you know, they were like in an orphanage, and they ended up reconnecting, all this cool stuff. So I've considered doing that after hearing their story, but I've never pulled the trigger on it.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Daniel, what do you got?
Yeah. I did a 23andMe thing, and I was shocked to find out that all the family stories I was told were all true. So boring. There was just like nothing to work with there. It's like,
I haven't done one of those yet, but my mother is big into genealogy and has family back to like 1400s, 1300s.
Wow.
That she's traced. And so I haven't done the DNA thing, because I'm sure there's some kind of break off somewhere at some point, but going that far back, that's enough.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Like I find it interesting, but it's not something that I really like care about. Like it's not going to make a big impact in, you know, my day-to-day life, so to speak, unless I find out that there's some horrible thing that happened that I have to carry the weight for. But outside of that, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the future is more important than the past, always.
Right.
Okay. Here's one of my favorite questions. If you could sing a song in American Idol, what would that song be?
I don't watch American Idol, so I'm not sure. I would, yeah, I can't answer that question, because I've been over here for like 14 years now. I'm in Thailand, so I've been over here for 14 years now. So with American Idol, I don't even know how long it's been on the air, but I can't remember ever watching American Idol. I know what it is, and like I've probably seen, you know, something on the internet, viral clips and stuff like that, but I've never, like, I haven't gotten into it enough to even know the songs that people are singing on there. The stuff
if you did have a chance to audition, though, to be the next big pop star, what would your audition song be?
That's a good one. So if I had the skills to do it, oh man, that's really good. If I had the skills to do it, man, that's tough. Maybe something by like Amos Lee. Maybe that's kind of something recent. Maybe. So maybe something by Amos Lee. Just because I like his voice, you know, like the vibe of Amos Lee. So maybe like "Arms of a Woman" by Amos Lee. We'll just go with that.
I'm just gonna go with that. That's my final answer.
Yeah, I would have picked something instrumental. That would work well for me. Chad, what have you got? You got a good question here.
So we have a few friends. I have some relatives that lean big time a certain way on this question. We were curious which way you did, and that is Bigfoot. Yes or no?
No.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with a big hard no on that one.
Big hard no on that one. But is there anything you'd like to say to the hardcore yesers out there?
I just want to. I either want like a video. I want to see it for myself, or I want a body. Like that's, you know, we'll just end it all. We'll just say either a body or a trapped Bigfoot. Then I would be convinced. But outside of that, if I don't have a body or a trapped Bigfoot, yeah, I'm not on board.
Wow. So hardcore.
Yeah, at least like a skeleton, you know, something. You know, you got to give me something. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right. So people out there, figure out a way to come up with a skeleton for Nick, and you can turn him into a believer. And for those of you who don't know, he has an incredible reach on social media, so he could get the word out.
Yeah, he's got about 800,000 times more reach than this show here. So that's very impressive.
How many subscribers are you up to now? Where are we at?
I just crossed 740.
740,000. Yep.
So that's about right.
39,940 50 more people than we have, and it's probably about equally as more valuable to the people who are watching it. So it makes sense. Listen, we've got one last interview question for you here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wait, no, we didn't. You skipped my question. You skipped the question. So I don't. We have. Okay, why don't you tell us? We looked at your search history and we found out that you once, in fact, had a job.
My
Not
search history.
Yeah,
what?
no,
How did
well,
you get
no,
my
we
search
haven't-
history?
no.
Oh my god. Yeah.
We haven't got. We
Please
haven't gotten to
don't
that
show
segment
my
yet.
search history. Yeah.
Okay,
Let me
we
bring
won't
up the
talk
screen
about.
share.
I wanted to know about the origin of Chad's cold sore, but let's no, we'll skip to the tell us the story about how you opened for a two-man crew. How did that happen?
Yeah, two live crew.
Two live
So
crew.
basically,
Two live
back
crew.
in the day, when I used to live in the States, I was messing around with digital music and I was making hip hop instrumentals. I still do that actually as a hobby on my iPad and stuff. And I got like a little setup, here. But basically, I was doing that sort of thing. And a friend of mine heard them and he's like, hey, this is pretty cool. I've got some friends that are rappers. You should bring them down and, see if they like your beats and want to rap on them, whatever. They came down, they started coming down on a regular basis because they like the instrumentals. Next thing you know, we're, I'm making like songs for them and all this stuff. And they ended up having a friend who was some like manager at this thing in the area. And basically they asked them, because they were performing around town as a group, to come and open for Two Live Crew. Now, keep in mind, it wasn't when Two Live Crew was at their height. Like, their thing was already over, but it was still, like a pretty packed event. But basically, one of the people couldn't do it because he had to work that night. It was like a required thing. So since I knew all their material inside and out, they asked me if I would go up there and do his part, which I agreed to. And then that got me on stage and, in front of those people and opening for Two Live Crew.
Wow, that's incredible. What is the chance of getting like a little sample of your hip hop music?
Yeah, I like right here on the spot. I can't, but I could, I could sing something at some time. Actually, if you go to Brian G. Johnson's YouTube channel, if you look for Brian G. Johnson diss track, then you can see a little bit, because Brian G. Johnson and I, we put together like a fun thing. Basically, Daniel Batal made like a rock diss track for Brian. And we put one together, in return for that, just on the YouTube thing, and it turned out pretty cool. So if you just hop on YouTube and search for Brian G. Johnson diss track, it'll come up.
Gotcha. So the track, the hip hop piece of that, the music, the background was you.
We're rapping too. Yeah, so like the whole thing. So the actual instrumental for that though, the instrumental for that particular one, that one actually came from Epidemic Sound, but we're rapping on it. We put the whole thing together. But the instrumental for that one did come from Epidemic Sound because we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any like sample problems or anything like that, because the stuff that I make, I don't like publish it publicly. So sometimes I'll rip stuff off the internet to have like a certain sound or something like that.
Sure.
And we just wanted to make sure that we use something that we wouldn't have to worry about, copyright strikes and, all that other stuff that goes with YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same way we bring guests to the show that actually have real YouTube channels and real content, because to make sure that there's something worthwhile here. Otherwise, it would, So yeah, same thing. We get
Wow.
it. We totally get it.
Well, tell you what, we're gonna leave this interview. You're hired. I think you nailed it.
I got the job.
You got the job. You got the job.
Yeah. How much? Yeah.
We're gonna need a
You get to
urine
pay
sample. At some point, you can mail that to Daniel's address.
Okay.
And that's the last step. So, but we're gonna.
Sweet. When do I start?
Daniel will get back to you as soon as he's done doing whatever it is he does with your urine.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Fantastic.
So,
wait a minute. You didn't say that was
been
going
a
to
few
be part
hours
of it.
now, and things are really looking bad for us, as you can tell. We're falling apart here. We don't really know what's going to happen.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on your last little bit there.
No, it's good, man. You got to keep the pace of the show going. No problems. I got it. Yeah.
Well,
I think
I try to pick up the
moving
pace
a bit
of the
too
show.
fast.
I try to pick up the pace of the show. If I keep the pace of the show going, then well, as you know. So this is actually one of everyone's favorite bits that we do here on the show. Explain this. Basically, all we do is we go through, your social media profiles, your online history, whatever we can find, which I will say in your case was a little difficult. You're very professional, and we don't really appreciate that here on this show.
Yeah.
So, however, we are incredibly grateful that you're here. But we're just going to pull up a few things here, and they're just opportunities for you to kind of like fill us in on what was going on certain images. This is something Daniel found, and we were curious if you knew what this was.
Hey,
I have no idea what that is.
No, you got
Are
the
you
wrong
sure that's
photo.
mine?
No, he got the wrong photo. Okay, so there was
That definitely
we
looks
just-
like Asia. It does look like Asia, but yeah, that's completely not familiar to me.
Okay, so we know that you live in Chiang Mai, and we tried to look up some street views of the city and see what is life like over there. So this is just some random hotel, I think, in the city, and it was supposed to be a different photo of just a certain situation, and we wanted you to explain what that was about. But here's a hotel, and are those washing machines outside? And first,
Yes.
right in the patio.
Yeah,
What
so
are
basically what
washing
you have
machines
there,
doing
you have washing
outdoors?
machines outside, you have some motorbikes. You actually could have gotten a much better picture because the if you were to go over to the pole over on the side, typically it's just a spaghetti string of electric wires and internet wires and all this stuff going on there, because they typically don't. They're starting to now in some places, but they typically don't run their wires underground like we do in the States. So because of that, just that by itself is something that takes a little getting used to visually, when you come over here. But yeah, definitely washing machines outside. It's often that you'll find water machines outside as well, where people can go and they can put like a 1 quart, a 1 liter bottle underneath it. And basically just kind of refill up their 1 liter and then go back up into their apartment.
Wow.
So-
Wow. I love learning new things about different cultures and just the way they do it. And it also reminds me how blessed and lucky I am.
Sure.
Here in the States. All right. So obviously that first picture was very informative for us, but also had very little to do with you. What about this?
So that was, I'm not sure if that was, I guess it would have been Halloween, but basically my brother, he builds like costumes and things like that. We ordered the Stormtrooper helmets but the rest of the costume, because we couldn't get the full kit over here. So basically we went and pieced together kind of like a SWAT looking thing. We had patches made with the, you see the Imperial patch in the front, and we kind of made them just look kind of like SWAT troopers is what we called them. And you see like the Empire thing over on the side and all that. And we went out for Halloween. We got them for the Star Wars premiere when Star Wars came back out after the long break, and we actually showed up and we hung out at the different movie theaters around town and all that stuff so people could take pictures and all that. It was fun. And in this situation, I think that this might have been a Halloween. And in that situation, we were the same exact thing. We go out and take pictures and all that. There's actually one. It's the only video that's on my TikTok account. If you just look for my name on TikTok, you'll see that we've severely upgraded the outfits. And my brother now has a Boba or Mandalorian outfit. It's like head to toe. It's awesome. And he's also built a full Stormtrooper outfit for me now as well. So we have that also. It's all cut to cool music and it shows all the details of the outfits and all that. But they turned out really cool. That's what's going on there.
Yeah, I did see that video. It was pretty neat.
Is Halloween a big thing in Thailand, or is it just the American expat community?
It's the expat community mostly, but even then it's not that big. Like they still have some Halloween stuff in the stores and things like that, but it's nothing like it is in the States, for example. It might be something commercially to where they can leverage it in some situations, like, hey, have our Halloween cookies as an example, but it's not something that people are not going out door to door here. They're not going out door to door and asking for candy and that kind of thing.
You should make a TikTok video of you trying to trick or treat in Thailand. That would be
probably
fun.
not a good idea. Yeah, that's once the things going on in the world is past this, you can come on over and I'll be the video guy for that one.
That's what I'm talking about. With a really strong lens from really far away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just in a store, just a fun selfie. In that one, we were in a store. We found those Gladiator helmets, and we're like, yeah, let's put these on and take a selfie. There you have it.
Isn't it interesting how everybody is now?
That's my brother D, by the way,
Which is which?
in the front.
You're in the back.
Yes.
Okay, I was making sure. That's what I thought. But it's funny, with COVID and how
Nice-
careful
nice
and we
save,
all are.
Chad.
But back in the day, didn't matter where you went. If there were costumes or hats or helmets or masks, you just put it on. Never even thought about who else maybe had it on beforehand. Just didn't even care.
Yep.
Good times.
Definitely was. Hopefully we'll be back there soon. So this was at Video Marketing World. First time I went to Video Marketing World, and there's a guy there named Jeff Eatley. Awesome photographer. He's taking pictures for everybody. And he ended up taking like a full set for me and a full set for a handful of other people. In addition to that picture, we also have some group photos where we're all posing in like similar ways, that kind of thing. But that's what that's from.
Do you?
But that's actually in the corner of at the let's see here. You're in Texas, so you'll be able to get this. It's what's the name of that place? It's begins with a G, really big in was it Houston or Dallas? Gaylord? Is that a hotel thing there or resort?
That I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, it's at that place. But it's kind of just like off to the center of their convention area there.
Is this like a Nimmin trademark pose that you're doing here? There's
No, this is just something that I was like, hey, this picture is like okay, so so I'll throw it up somewhere.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I dig it. I was, I saw that there were a few others that he had taken, but this one just stood out to me. It spoke to me. It said things to me. I don't remember what any
good
of them
things
were,
I hope.
but at the moment it did say something.
Hopefully it said something like, wow, I really like that brown chair.
I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
What's
Good.
what's
And the
going
brown
on in
chair
this-
goes great with that brown like dresser looking thing back there.
the
Whatever you would call
dresser-looking
that.
thing that was probably built with a cutting thing.
Yeah, bet it was.
Fill us in here. What's the story?
Oh man,
here?
I've been muted the entire time.
So, well, party's over now, Chad. Yeah. So, I'm just kidding.
I was like, why are you
This
guys
show feels like
ignoring
it's
me?
going so smoothly.
in this picture here, basically I meditate. That's part of my daily routine. As long as, some days I'll miss it, but for the most part, I've been meditating for, about 6 years now. And this particular picture was after a one particular session with that. And I'm the only person that knows this until now. But this selfie right here was after one particular session where I don't know if insights is the right word, but it was just a really heavy session for me, that particular meditation session. And I walked away with a lot, of personal things with that one. And I wanted to take this selfie just as a reminder when I ran across it on my phone or, whatever it happened to be. And I even use this as a profile picture in some places. But I just wanted to take that photo just to remind myself of that particular moment because it was like, for me personally, it was a pretty profound moment.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Right.
I love that.
By the way, are you
I noticed the
flexing a
beard was a
poker
little
chip
different back
over
then.
there?
Is that what?
So I noticed the
Are you
beard was a
flexing?
little different back then.
Yeah, a little bit. It's definitely a little bit different back then. Yeah, it's a lot more brown if you notice. It's definitely longer and bushier for sure. So basically, I had a period of time to where I was like, hey, I'm just going to grow it out for a little bit, and this was also during that particular time.
Particular time is code for I was going through some issues.
No, it was actually just like, like with the lifestyle that I live and working online and all that stuff, like, I don't have to shave. I don't have to, do any of that stuff. So, from time to time, if I, like I'll do that now. Like if I batch content and I have like a bunch of content, built up, if I know I'm not going to be like streaming for a couple of weeks or something, sometimes I'll just let it go, at those times as well. Just because, why not?
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This one here
intrigued me.
is
I'm
from
curious.
a video that I made. So I have a YouTube channel, had a YouTube channel, it's still up, but it's called All Our Questions. It's kind of the channel that got me started on YouTube in terms of, just learning about YouTube and learning what's important and, all that stuff. During that process is kind of what lit my fire, so to speak, for YouTube. But this particular image is from a video I made about Halloween, because the channels all are questions, and the whole thing about that channel, or the theme of the channel, was that I was answering the world's most asked questions. And then, of course, for tentpole content, one of the things that I would always cover would be holidays as those came along. And this particular one was explaining Halloween. And so I painted my face red, and I put that stuff on there so that I could kind of edit the footage back and forth between like a normal me and then kind of like a demonic me that you see right here on the screen.
Gotcha.
So it just made the edit a little bit creepy and all of that.
That's a great photo. I saw a clip. There's a clip on your Facebook page. I don't maybe it was just an intro to one of the videos that you were talking about. I believe it was about the Great Wall of China.
Yeah. So I have videos for that channel. I have videos in China. I have videos in Japan. I have videos in the Philippines. Videos here, of course. But yeah, so I definitely made some videos while traveling around with that channel as well.
Awesome.
So that I was in the States visiting my mom, and we went into a Walmart, and I saw that they had these. So, what a selfie opportunity is that when I ran across that thing. So that's what that is.
Do you happen to know what that means when you see a person wearing that?
I don't. I'm waiting for it, though.
That explains why you posted it. So look up the term furry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
So I know what the term means, but I also want to say that when I saw this photo, that term never crossed my mind. I never thought of it. So
could you save me a Google search and tell me and the viewers what that means, Chad?
Let's just say it has to do with one's preference for love.
Okay. All right, I got it.
You can leave it there, and just let
Yeah.
everyone's. Some people like cutting things. Some people like people in furry costumes.
Okay,
Fair enough.
fair enough.
This one
This
is
particular one was I downloaded an app. It was like an old camera app, so that's it. There's not much to that one.
Wow. And this is when I was like, this is just feels deep. There's got to be a meaning,
Nope.
and there's nothing.
No.
Nothing. So basically blank expression, because that's how people used to take photos back in the day. So I'm like, hey, if I'm going to take a photo of the picture of this old camera, then I'm going to go, old emotion style and have, zero emotion for the photo. So that's as deep as that one goes.
Wow, that's outstanding.
I can make something up. If you want me to make something up, I can come up with something for this if you want.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Please,
let's
by all
hear
means.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, for this particular photo here, I was on like a 3-week bender, and basically at the towards the end of the bender, I actually woke up and saw this photo, and I was like, man, I don't even remember taking this photo. So because of that, I was like, you know what, I need to get my stuff together, and then now of course my stuff is together.
Wow. So this was kind of a moment where just life came together for you.
Yeah. It just kind of I was walking down the wrong road, the right road, the light appeared, and took me back in the right direction. Yeah.
Wow. It looks like a book cover. I'd pick it up and and check it out. Especially now. This was just cool.
So this particular one is of riding an elephant. There was actually a person on the back as well, but they've been photoshopped out. But they have a bunch of they have a bunch of sanctuaries around here. And before I knew that it was harmful to ride elephants and that it actually caused, long-term injury to them and things like that when you ride elephants. So just in case you don't know that, if you ever come to Thailand or any place where you can ride elephants, don't. It's actually not good for them. But on my bucket list was riding an elephant. Basically in this particular situation, I was on this elephant, and my brother and his friend was on another elephant. And we were basically going through the jungle, and it started to rain. And, he actually is the one that took this particular picture, I believe. But basically, it was just a really cool moment. So basically, when you go to ride the elephants, they have you put on, they're called mahouts here. And they're basically like the people that run the elements, or the elephant trainers. And they make you put on clothes that are similar to theirs. So that outfit there is something that they made me put on in order to actually ride the elephant. And, we're cruising around, in that I was GoProing the situation. So I have some really cool footage from the top of the elephant as well. But that was actually a pretty cool moment as well, in terms of hitting the bucket list, and it was raining on top of it. And I was hanging out with my brother. So like the whole thing was a really cool moment.
Wow. That's outstanding. One of the things I'm very glad that you decided to clarify to us what happened to the other rider, because you just led
Being
with
photoshopped out.
Yeah, well, you just led with there was another rider.
Yeah.
And my brain just went to, and he's back there somewhere. So
I wonder who that other writer was that you
We'll never know.
photoshopped them out.
Know.
Yeah, like who was it that you didn't want them to ever show up in your photos?
Yeah, we'll never know.
That's a great job on the Photoshop, by the way. So, well, man, I appreciate the stories. It was neat to just to hear. Like I said, a lot of times we find some really crazy stuff for people, but you
yeah, now I'm gonna start planting stuff. Now that I know people are doing this, yeah, I'm gonna start planting stuff now. Yeah,
on purpose.
People don't do this. We do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Other people watch this and they're like, "There's a reason no one else does this." There's great reasons for this. So, all right, guys. I'll tell you what, we are going to give everybody a quick little breather because we know that this show can wear on you and cause incredible damage, possibly lifelong. And that's why we also, at the end of the show, provide an 800 number for our official
support.
Yeah, it's a therapist that she charges 99 cents a minute. It's great.
Happen.
Those are great photos. I'm still laughing at the fact that the one that I thought was like, wow, there's some deep meaning. You're like, it was an app.
Yeah, that particular one was like the least meaningful photo in that entire batch.
Oh, too funny, man. You've had some incredible experiences though, and the stuff you do is really, really inspiring.
Nick.
Quite the intro. Quite the intro for something we've never, ever done or attempted here on Subpellucid, and that is this new little segment entitled Questions from the Pros. So, Nick, everybody knows that, or they should know at this point, that you are a YouTube sensation, a guru of the methods of YouTube and teaching people how to master it and be able to do that and use it for their business. So what we did is we thought it would be a good idea to reach out to other people in the industry and ask them if they had questions for you.
Nice.
And with your permission, we will share those.
Or not. Oh, no permission.
Well, without permission as well. That's
no
true.
matter what.
Fair enough.
Let's do it.
All right. So our first question actually comes from someone I think you know well, Scott Simpson from Video Marketing World.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey, Nick. Hope you're doing well, man. Chad asked me to ask you a question. So I've got a question for you. This is an important one, and I think everybody's going to want to know it. What is the most useless talent that you have? The most useless talent. What is the talent that you have that if you were to show it to somebody, they'd be like, why does that even matter? What's the most useless talent you have? Go.
I can juggle. That's pretty useless. Never used it in any capacity whatsoever. But yeah, I can juggle, and I think that's probably pretty low on the list of talents that will bring any value to anything or anybody at anywhere at any point in time when it's coming from me. If you're a professional juggler, you do your thing. Or if you're a magician or a clown or something. But for me personally, or if you're like a street performer somewhere in the world, but like for me personally, my version of juggling just isn't it's not that great. But not only can I juggle like in the air, but I can also do the transition where I like go, if I have like bouncy balls to play with, then I can take it from the air, bounce them on the ground, put them back up in the air, that kind of thing. Haven't done it in a while, but it's something that I can do, and I would definitely file that under useless talent.
I love
Thanks,
it.
Scott.
I love it.
Must be the world's most useless talent, even more so than yo-yoing.
Wow, I actually have juggling clubs on the shelf behind me. So I'm
Well, that's why I said it's coming from me. So, like in your case, it might be fantastic, but for me, yeah, that's definitely something that, if I juggle, it's going to add value to nobody.
One of my old friends just commented, "Don't worry, Chad. Not all jugglers are useless." He knew me when I was way years ago. My brother and I actually used to team juggle, and so we performed
nice.
at different places and whatnot. So, all right.
Nice.
Our next question comes from Jeremy Vest.
Nice.
All right, Nick, this is really important. If you had hair, what kind of hairstyle would you be rocking today?
Man, that's a good one. Great question, Jeremy. Thank you for that.
We go
Yeah,
deep
so if I
here,
had
really
hair,
deep.
yeah, if I had hair, what would I do today? Man, that's a great question. I'd probably have like a ponytail or something, just because I'm lazy. That's why I have a beard, because I only have to shave this and I have to shave this. So if I have to shave this, that's like a whole other thing. So because of that, if I had hair, then that would be like a whole other thing on top of that. Then I would only be responsible for this. So because of that, yeah, let's go with the ponytail.
I think it's a great choice.
And I would have to cut it barely ever. So on the maintenance side, yeah, that's a win all the way around. I'm you know what? I'm rolling with ponytail. That's my final answer.
Final answer. Everybody. I was curious what everybody else would like to see. You sporting, but I'm digging. I feel the ponytail vibe is there.
When I was a kid, I actually had long hair, and I did have it in a ponytail. I'm paying for that now, but I did have I did have that when I was a kid.
Nice. Well, we got another question from one of your really good buddies. We'll just bring it up.
Nick, hey, great to be talking with you today. Serious question that I hope we can sort of figure out on our time together today. I have a problem with being really, really good looking. And I noticed that you have the same issue. How do you pull yourself away from the mirror when you're getting ready to go live? Because I find that I'm looking in the mirror and it's so gorgeous what I see that I can't pull myself away. How do you, Nick, as a gorgeous man, how do you pull yourself away from the mirror so that you can go back to recording and get videos done?
Great question. Right here, selfie cam all day long. So basically it goes mirror to the selfie cam to sitting down here where I have a monitor in front of me. And then, and then I can just keep the whole thing rolling. And then when, the camera turns off, then sometimes I'll just have a video playing. If I'm like, you know what, I know I'm good looking, so I'm not even going to look right now. I'm just going to play a video instead because I was good looking, a week ago too. So then I'll just play that while I'm out walking around shopping, that kind of thing. Cause it's kind of weird walking around, with my camera looking at myself. So, so because of that, I'll play videos. And then, every time I get the opportunity, don't get me wrong, I'll go in the bathroom, look in the mirror for a little bit there, pick it up on the selfie side on the way out. But then as soon as I get back into the mall, then, thank God I'm a video creator. I've got tons of videos to look at in terms of, being able to reference my amazing good looks. So fantastic question there, Owen. Thank you.
Wow, absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully he'll see this on the replay and appreciate the editing that I put in there for him, which was done with love, Owen. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. All right. Well, we went a little bit, well, it was distant for us. It might be closer for you for this next question.
Woohoo, I get to send in a question. Okay, Nick,
Oh, God.
I've known you and your brother D for quite a while now, and you seem like the kind of guys that would have got up to a lot of mischief growing up. So can you share probably the craziest thing that you guys got up to as younger Nimmin brothers?
That's fantastic. So thank you, Justin. Whew, that was close. Yeah, so that could have went in a bunch of different ways. So I'm glad that came out like it did. So so Mischief. So one thing that I used to do, I don't know, would statute of limitations be okay on this? I guess as long as I'm not specific. So I used to like to play with fire when I was younger. So me and dumpsters had a really good relationship. So one thing that I used to do, I was like really young, so bear with me on this. I hope I don't offend anybody by saying this, but basically like one of the things that I would do is I just enjoyed going into open parking lots. I wouldn't do it by apartments or anything like that, but I would just go into open parking lots because for whatever reason, even though I loved the fire and I loved watching, all the trucks come and it was like this big thing that happened. I, still did keep, safety in mind, to some extent. But anyway, I like to find just big empty parking lots with a dumpster, or even better if they had multiples, and give them a little ignite.
And was this something you did with your brother? Because Justin was also curious what kind of mischief you got in together.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes we would do it together. Sometimes I would just roll solo. I'm sure he would do it, solo as well. But yeah, so when I was younger, I definitely had a thing for for doing that sort of thing. I was not a fantastic kid. So yeah, I'll leave it at that in terms of yeah, I'll leave it there. But yeah, so yeah, just fire and dumpsters was probably pretty high on the mischief list.
I'll tell you, you've got my curiosity peaked for sure, because just seeing the look on your face when you saw it was Justin.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, yeah, because that could go in a bunch of different ways, which I won't disclose. So yeah, as soon as he came on, I was like, oh God, oh boy. Yeah.
Well, and also a little disclaimer, and I told Justin I would make sure I passed this on, because he wanted to make sure he got a question to us, but he had to do it kind of quickly, and he wanted to make sure everyone knew that just for you, Nick, he broke almost all of his rules for creating videos on that particular video. So
that's good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
still turned out great.
Yeah, but still,
that's how good he is. He breaks all the rules, and it still turns out awesome.
And on top of that, to know that you have a friend who's willing to take that risk for you. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. We've got one last question. Is there anybody like
to be honest, I feel like I completely dodged a bullet there. That was great. Whew. All right.
Is there anybody in particular that if you had a choice, you would hope we didn't get a question from?
Probably my brother.
Well, you're lucky there. We tried, but I couldn't get in touch with him. But
okay.
We did get
because he would know exactly what to say to put me in a really awkward spot. So yeah.
Well, we do have one last one, however, from a guy named Brian G. Johnson.
Do you remember that time in Mexico, Nick?
I do remember that time in Mexico. I remember all the times in Mexico. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Is there a particular one that he's possibly referencing, and why?
I don't know. Like I'm just going to plead the fifth, and because that's pretty open ended on that time. So we spent some time down in Mexico. So because of that, we'll just leave it at absolutely.
If we
never forget,
would this
never
help?
forget Mexico. I would show you my back tattoo that says "Never Forget Mexico," but I think it would be inappropriate for the. I think it'd be inappropriate for the stream right now.
So none of these ring a bell or bring up anything at all. That
absolutely they do. Yeah.
Nothing you want to share?
Yeah. So Brian and I, we went down to Mexico, hung out down there for a handful of days. Awesome time. We stayed at a really cool resort down there. So basically one of the things that we were starting to do as COVID hit is we were starting to, like, anytime we would go to a conference in the state, well, anytime I would go over to the States and we would go to a conference, then we started it, but we were going to start going to different places after the conference, just kind of like chill out and all that. So we did it for Bid Summit and we did it for Social Media Marketing World as well. And we're going to kind of keep that whole thing going until, unfortunately, COVID put us in this weird situation that we're in right now.
Gotcha. This is some other photos that Brian sent along with his question.
What is that?
Kenza Flex.
Oh, is that because he got really sick down there too? Oh yeah, okay. So that's what that's from. Yeah, so he got really sick when we were down there. So basically, with respect to his privacy, like he was in a pretty bad situation down there. He got some of the water maybe, or maybe he ate something that was bad, and he ended up in a pretty rough situation down there.
He didn't seem too concerned about the privacy. He made it sound like there was some interesting pieces to that story. I don't know did you guys leave him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I had to fly back. Yeah, he's a grown man. Yeah, of course.
I think that was one of the key points he had brought up when I talked to him. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, he had to get like checked out and all that good stuff, and he had to have like a nurse or doctor or whatever come to the room. He ended up going to the hospital. all that stuff. And, you know, I had a plane to catch.
This to me, this,
So,
this,
so, you know,
this,
I had to go.
this
You know,
photo said it all for me.
I had a plane to catch back to the other side of the world. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, when he sent me this one, he sent me others. Obviously, I showed you, but this particular photo, I was like, okay, I can't wait to hear the.
Yeah, that's part of the privacy. Yeah,
and you gave him his privacy.
totally.
Completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how
Yeah.
there's no toilet under that toilet seat.
Oh, there wasn't?
It's just
No,
a drain.
It's just a toilet seat. It's just a toilet seat in a shower.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just a drain.
It's a-
Just-
I'm trying not to visualize what went on there, but now you will.
Wow. Well, awesome. Hey, thanks for being, you know, kind of our a guinea pig on this little deal with.
Oh, it was
having-
fun.
Yeah, thought it would be fun to see what other people would bring up and people that, you know you better than we do. So, we got one last little bit, and then we'll get you out of here. And this next bit's really just all for you and our way of saying thanks.
You know, like this isn't like an entertainment thing. This is more of just kind of like a place to just kind of chill out. So that's what's going on here. There's nothing metaphysical about this. If you do this with me, then there's going to be a period of time, most likely, just based on body position and how you're breathing, that you're going to feel like a sensation of sorts that's going to happen here in your head.
We're gonna use that as a new disclaimer here on the show.
Yeah.
So look, this last little bit is just our way of saying thank you. It's our 60-second elevator pitch. We were actually, I think Daniel came up with an idea of just calling it "Stuck in an Elevator with a Captive Audience." But we just want to give you a chance to say whatever you want to say, to promote your channel, talk about what you do, get on a soapbox. Honestly, it's your call. We've got a link up to your YouTube channel up on the screen for people who are watching as well. So we're going to put you in the elevator. You'll hear a ding, and you'll see it start to go to the 60th floor, which is just counting your 60 seconds of sharing whatever you want. But we do appreciate you being here with us, man.
Yeah, thank you. So if you start the thing, first, I just want to say thanks for having me on. This has been an absolute blast. So thank you for that. Two, if you want to find more about me, you can of course go to my YouTube channel, go to nicknimmin.com. All roads lead to Rome from there. And really, if I in terms of trying to sell you stuff and pitch you stuff and all that stuff, I don't really have anything that I am trying to sell you or anything like that. So tons of free content on YouTube that you can go and learn how to grow your YouTube channel. And, basically the idea with the channel is I just share the information, tools, and resources that you need to really get a handle on YouTube, because, it's a jungle out there, so to speak. And, my channel basically helps introduce you to all the different ideas and things that you need to make it a lot easier on yourself and to, massively increase your chances of not only succeeding on the platform, but actually thriving on the platform. So definitely go and check it out.
Awesome.
And then I'm just going to sit here in awkward silence for the next 10 seconds.
Well, you're catching on to kind of the theme of our show, so that works out fine.
If you mess. Boom.
Yeah, I just need some more hair color. It's kind of fading, and a bit of a haircut. I like the. I'm on a live show right now. I like the look of this guy. He's got his head shaved and a nice trimmed beard. I want something like that, but I'm not sure how to add the color into that. So, yeah. 3 hours. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, 11 a.m. on Tuesday. Sure, let's do it.
If anybody's interested, we
gotta
teach
get
a
back to
course on how to produce a
we're
professional-looking
back.
live stream show hosted by Daniel.
So just as a heads up, that audio track, like I was saying before, is from Epidemic Sound. So you might end up getting a copyright strike if you are not a paying Epidemic Sound user. Just go ahead and just be prepared for that.
We have several.
Okay.
We have viewers who are on strike. actually as well. So
Okay.
we're used to
So
strikes.
if you used Epidemic Sound in your YouTube channel and we used your YouTube channel in here, it's still a violation of that. Ooh.
Yep.
Oh
Interesting.
well, we had a good run.
Yeah,
Okay.
technically.
We had a good run.
So
Okay.
as I put just a big shadow over the fun of the show with legal realities, right?
Well,
But if
we always
anybody
like to
watching is from
end on a
Epidemic
gloomy note.
Sound, we're sorry.
We're sorry. Just play asterisks. We're sorry.
We're sorry. Yeah,
That's hilarious. Hey, look, usually we play some credits here at the end. But truth be told, I was working on your questions from your friends and I forgot. So we don't have any. We usually let those roll. We chit chat for a little bit, and that's how we end the show. So at this point, we're just kind of in this awkward moment where it's new to us. So Daniel, I'm going to let you take the reins.
Oh my gosh, no, please not that. That's yeah. So let's see, where do we go?
Answer the question from earlier, the beginning of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was kind of leading there in that
Oh, were you? Okay.
little
Trying to think
segue.
here. Wait, Bob. I'm trying to think. Okay, so we need to get question, right. Okay, so the question was, what did Nick Nimmin do back in his prior life before he became a YouTube big deal? So was he a door-to-door salesperson? Was he an office cleaning service? Maybe he did. Maybe it was a business. I don't know. Pooper Scooper startup that would take over the world and keep the streets clean from poop. Is he a professional DJ? Or which one of these?
Nick, what's the answer?
So basically, I was not a professional DJ, but I did have a door-to-door sales company, and I had a commercial cleaning company, and I tried to start a dog crap cleaning company, like Daniel was saying. However, before we hired anybody for that, we're like, let's go out and make sure that, we actually want to hire people for this, that this is something that we want to do. After just like a few weeks of that, we're like, no, we're actually not, we're not going to walk down this road. So in that situation, we just stuck the partner that I was doing that particular thing with. We just stuck with the commercial cleaning instead.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
You
awesome.
should have like.
But yeah, door to door, we did that for a decade. That was an awesome experience. So like the really cool thing with that was it got to. It gave me tons of insight because we would travel when we would do it sometimes as well. Still kind of locally, like state to state type of thing. But it gave me really good insight into just how people live in general. Because, I got to go into like all these different neighborhoods and I got to, meet all kinds of different people and all types of different, situations and, all that stuff. And it was just really interesting because like, for example, you would have one day where you would go out and you'd take the crew and you would work like a really nice neighborhood, like $1 million plus homes. And it was cool, right? And you had that, and typically you'd run into like police and all that stuff. They would get called. And then, you'd have the other times where you'd go and you'd work in like rougher areas, and you go work in those rougher areas and you would get to like be in those environments and just kind of hanging out there and seeing what that's kind of like, just from that particular point of view. And the really interesting thing is that you always got treated better, even though you might not think it. You always got treated better in the rougher areas than you did in the nicer areas, which kind of gave me a lot of insight. And this was like in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Florida. Like we went all over the place, and the same thing seemed to reign true all the way across the board. And it really opened my eyes to, at that point in time, because I grew up in the suburbs. So it really opened my eyes to, to just kind of the way, and of course, it's not, everybody's not like that, but it just kind of opened my eyes to the way that, that things are when it comes to how people treat each other. And that was just a really interesting experience at that point in time to, to have the opportunity, I should say, to be able to, to see that side of things. It was interesting.
Wait, how did you end up in situations that you're knocking on somebody's door trying to sell them something and they call the police on you? What exactly? What were you?
Well,
doing?
you're soliciting. So you're soliciting. So, like, for example, like if I was live streaming right here and somebody were to knock at my door, then, if I went there and they weren't invited, I might be like, hey, we had a no soliciting sign here and you're still knocking on my door. Do you even have a permit to be out here? That kind of thing. And, because of that, some people wouldn't even open their doors. It would just be, somebody they don't know at their door, and they would call the police because they didn't want to open the door because they don't even know who it is. So, there's a bunch of different situations where you might run into that. But typically it would come down to either the people in that area wanting to make sure that you had permits locally, or it would come down to just people not knowing, just people being afraid, really, because somebody's at their door that they didn't expect. And I'll be honest, we also have some pretty, aggressive sellers also. So, not like, hard, but like, like our training was to make sure that they didn't take a no. So, they would sit at a door, and basically like our thing was like, most sales come after 5 no's. So we pushed that really hard, which, if the wrong person that wasn't as tactful when it came to selling was at somebody's door, it might come off a little bit more pushy compared to, somebody else that might be able to handle that, in a more, in an easier way.
Yeah, come off as a little more pushy. I can imagine the foot in the door technique. Yeah, the training seminar you had there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we definitely didn't do anything like that. But I mean, just in terms of, just the tactics, right? And in terms of, just not taking the no. Like, in some cases you have to take the no, but we typically found that, you would have to get through a handful of objections before you would actually, close the sale. And the thing with that is, in that situation when you're going door to door and you're trying to sell somebody something, they weren't expecting you. They didn't even know that you were going to show up, kind of like when you show up on a YouTube homepage, right? To bring all that back around. But like they didn't even expect you to show up, and you had to knock on their door. You had to be able to grab their attention, as soon as the door opened. You had to build everything around their benefits, all that. And then when they, when you kind of dissolve all of those in your initial presentation, all their objections there, then of course, as soon as you ask for the actual sale, then there's a whole other wall that gets built in that moment. And then you have to, through, taking the no's, so to speak, you have to, kind of break that wall down as well. And some people just aren't as tactful when they do it, and it can come off, a little bit more, pushy is the only way that I can frame that in that situation.
Okay, so we're going to end the show. Not addressing that poker chip in your hand even once, and just say, I think you should write a biography one day that's titled "From Poop to Scoop: How I Went from Cleaning Up Poop and Burning Dumpsters to Being a YouTube Sensation." And
it's a really long title.
A must read.
That is. It's actually already in print. Yeah, it's already in print. So that's another thing you'll find on my website is my book titled, what is it again?
From Poop to Scoop. How
That's
I
it.
went from collecting poop and burning dumpsters to being a YouTube sensation. So Nick Nimmin, thank you so much for joining us. This was
Thanks, guys. This has been a blast. Yeah, this has been awesome. So like, typically in situations like this, you have the normal, questions about like YouTube and stuff like that. But this has just been great because it's definitely stuff that happens, like with the videos from other people asking questions, and then you guys, doing the things that you're doing. It definitely throws you hits you from the left field, so to speak. So yeah, this is awesome. So thank you guys.
Hey man, appreciate it. It was great having you, and seriously, thanks for taking time out to be here with us. All right.
And thanks everybody for suffering through the worst producer in the world and the worst co-host in the world, and for being here with me. And see you in next week, hopefully.
Wow.
And thanks again, Nick. Do we have an outro, Chad? We don't have an outro.
Our outro is going to be whatever you decide to sing.
Oh.
Okay, we'll just
What
end
would
it
I
there.
sing?
Thanks, guys. Take care.